Hello and welcome to the Holly Meredith Show. Tonight you're going to see, as you can see behind me, that our flag is not the same flag that you're normally accustomed to having me have on the show. And there's a reason for that. You will see that the flag behind me is in disrepair. It is tattered. It is torn. In other words, it's all messed up. And the reason it's up there is because that is the condition of our beautiful America. We are all messed up. Whether or not you paid any attention to the sideshow that took place last week and over the weekend in Congress as they passed a $1.1 trillion spending bill, that means you, the American taxpayer, are now on the hook for another $1.1 trillion of spending, most of which doesn't do a damn thing for the country. In fact, I'll go over a few things for you, puts us in the same boat we've been in for the last 55 years of picking up the tab for people all around the world who contribute nothing to America and yet get their hands in our pockets every time a budget is passed because we have the best Congress that you can buy and pay for. Over the weekend, we had what I call the Broadway sideshow. It could be a play on Broadway. They all have their appointed roles. They all come out and act them. And then they can't wait to get their butts out of the door because, as the Republicans said on Friday, and Boehner, who is completely useless, John Boehner is not the Speaker of the House for the American people. The Speaker of the House is supposed to represent the people of the country. John Boehner represents himself and his friends and as much money as he can rob from you before he leaves office, which he's going to do after this term. So he could give a flying fig, you know what I'd really like to say. He could give a flying fig about what happens to us. He has enough money to buy the state of Florida, which he's kind of indicated that he may come to Florida and retire here with his daughter who married a Rastafarian from Jamaica. Go look that picture up. That's a real beauty. No wonder he's all screwed up. Wouldn't you love to have a Rastafarian son-in-law? I wouldn't. Anyway, back to the mess that went on all weekend. As they came out and played their roles, Nancy Pelosi shaking, because she is 73, remember? Nancy Pelosi going, I can't believe we're being held up for blackmail by the Republicans. Meanwhile, this entire charade was already figured out a week ago. They already made their backroom deals. They already agreed to fund his unbelievable, illegal, unconstitutional amnesty. And they would pretend that they were against it. Had they been against it, they would have let the government shut down. Not that you ever would have noticed anyway, because the government shutdown doesn't really shut down. The parts that are important, that is Social Security, our military, and defending our borders, continue on because the shutdown doesn't include that. The parts that we could do without, that would be all the entitlement programs. That does not include Social Security or Medicare because you pay into that. The difference between Social Security and Medicare and why it's never supposed to be lumped in with entitlement programs is because the people who pay into it are only getting something out of it after 35 to 40 years of paying into it if they live that long. The entitlement programs, on the other hand, are usually from people who screw their lives up so badly they have no hope in hell of ever being able to do anything ever again, and we get to support them for the rest of their miserable existences and any brats they happen to drop out. So that is what happened over the weekend. You, hardworking, trying to figure out how to pay your bills. And oh, by the way, did you not see, because they can't wait to get on television and tell you how lucky you are, that the price of gasoline has fallen as if they had anything to do with it, which they did not. The only reason gasoline prices are falling is because the rest of the world's economy is falling, because America is not number one, China is at the moment, thanks to that odious, reprobate, illegal, Kenyan communist prick that we have in the White House. Again, a first. So I'm saying all these things to you because nobody seems to care. The fact that you just passed a spending bill of $1.1 trillion in 1 year. In 1 year. You're funding Ebola in Africa. You're giving billion, I forgot. $9 billion to the rebels in Syria that were our enemies only 2 years ago. Can you say Saddam Hussein returns? You are giving our money away, not you, not that you ever know, but you are giving our money away hand over fist. I have a question for you. If this country has $1.1 trillion that we can put in a spending bill for 1 year, why are we having any problems in the country for the citizens of the country? Why are the veterans having a hard time getting their medical care while we're going to be funding the goddamn 20 illegal immigrants that this son of a bitch has just changed our immigration laws to make legal and had the president of Mexico, Nieto Peña, Friday in his office, and I'm sure they were passing around the champagne. Because he gets rid of the dreck of his country, dumps them on us, and we pick up the bill again. This man is so guilty of treason, I want to know where our military is. This is Holly Meredith. I'm getting ready to go to my first break. Hello and welcome to New York Nails and Skin Salon, located on beautiful Linton Boulevard in downtown Delray Beach. This salon is open 7 days a week. Yes, 7 days. If you need the finest skincare and the finest manicures and pedicures that you can get, you want to call Linda at 561-274-7470. I want to say it to you one more time. 7 days a week. The finest skincare and nail care that you can get. Give her a call. Once again, it's New York Nails, and the number is 561-274-7470. Welcome back to the Holly Meredith Show, and I'm sure you're riveted to your seat with all the information that I'm giving you, which you are never, of course, going to hear from anybody else other than Fox News, who does make an attempt. They make an attempt to give you as much honest information as they can, but remember, they are also controlled by the FCC, which is a branch of your federal government. Keep that in mind. So really, they can only say so many things, and then they're shut off. I'm not. Okay. Back to the budget. You had the biggest vote just a month ago. You had the biggest vote that went Republican since 1928. The entire South went Republican. And you would think that the retards in your government would have paid attention, but no. Want a change in your government? Well, you just can't have it. And that is what they told you with this preposterous bill. There is no way in the world, when you add it all up, and get ready for this one again. I, Holly Meredith, my God, my eyes are going to find out. My eyes read this crap. I read all 1,600 pages of this unmitigated bullshit that was released only 48 hours before the vote. Again, can you say Obamacare? It is the same rubbish. Giving you a bill with no time to read it and then twisting your arm or forcing you to vote for it by telling you if you don't vote for it like Boehner did, then you can't be on a committee like Boehner did, like Mitch McConnell did, like John McCain did. These people have to go by whatever means we can use. They have to go. They do not care what happens to this country. It is so obvious. And then Boehner comes out with his nonsense and says this is a good bill. It was passed with a bipartisan way. It is a very good bill. I am saving you lots of money. I have a question for you, Speaker Boehner. If you're saving us all this goddamn money, how did we wind up $18 trillion in debt? You've been there 23 years. Can't answer that one, can you? You don't save us 2 cents. Again, if you had read the bill as I did, you will see that most of that money goes to increase your entitlements. Not Medicare, not Social Security, not the veterans' benefits. They all got cut. They had to put a rider in, which they did do, to protect the Medicare Trust Fund from being raided to pay the bills for the illegal immigrants that Bozo Boy has now let into the country. And in case you wonder, does he have the authority to do that? No, he does not. He is a tyrant. Whatever it is that goes on there, our entire government is petrified of him. I don't know why, but they are. He has to know something or have something on all of them or just plain threaten them. I don't know. But they are petrified of him for whatever reason. Maybe he really is the son of the devil. I think so. I think you're really looking at the arch prince of hell. And maybe that's the problem. They're all afraid to go to hell, but newsflash, they're going anyway. Here you have the richest country in the world. I'll say it again. If we have $1.1 trillion in 1 year's spending bill, then every citizen, real citizen, in this country should not be wanting for anything. You're talking about $1.1 trillion. There should be no homeless on our streets. They should have a place to live, not half freaking Mexico. The poor veterans who need proper care shouldn't be waiting 9 months to a year, and half of them die before they get it. They should be getting taken care of immediately. This is what you need to understand. Your whole role in life, according to your government, your ruling class, which is how they see themselves, they didn't want to work over the weekend. In fact, they were saying all day Friday, if we don't get this done today, while they were trying to make everybody sign the thing, if we don't get this done today, we have to work over the weekend. BFD, as they say. Half of America, if not more, has to work 2 jobs to be able to afford their electric bill. Okay. Going back to the people that tried to do something for you. Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Mike Pence, Jeff Sessions, all of whom were excoriated by their fellow Republicans. Yeah, they were. Because they were trying, and they did in the end manage to get into this bill. They would not vote on it and finalize it until they had this amendment put in, this rider that said the granting of no deportation, which is how slick Obama got around this. What he did was simply stop deportations. He didn't actually say he was going to allow the people to stay. That's how clever this little schmuck is. He didn't really do that. He just said, I'm not going to deport them. So in effect, what he did was change the immigration laws of America. Now you're going to get the bill. It's already coming in. They already rented a building. They already hired 1,000 people to help these people. Help them be illegal. And part of the money goes to get them attorneys and immigration judges so that your taxpayer money, yours, will help the illegal creeps that are here stay here. That's what got passed in this bill. The only hope and prayer we have of not being inundated, because in case you haven't figured this out, if you allow these 20 million illegal criminal creeps who don't think enough of the country to do it the right way, if you allow them to come here, they're not, oh, by the way, they're not asked to learn English in this. No, they don't have to learn English. Doesn't matter. And they don't get asked questions about how long they've been here. Doesn't matter. So in other words, you have an open border country as of Friday. An open border country. That's what you have. And that again is why President Nieto Pena from Mexico was there on Friday shaking that abomination's hand, saying, thank you for taking all my unwanted, creepy, criminal Mexicans off my hands. And they're not the only ones coming, by the way. No. You have people from Bangladesh. You have Muslims. God knows how many of them are probably terrorists. No one's being stopped. No one's being asked questions. And they will come into the country, go into your school district, go right on all of your programs. And by the way, they qualify for Obamacare. You can't afford your own health care thanks to Obamacare. Your deductibles are sky high. Your premiums are off the side of the moon because you're going to get the bill for all these rejects. They don't have to pay. You do. But they qualify right away. Is this really what you want in our White House? Is this really how you want your government to run? I say open insurrection should be something that you should be considering. And I am not kidding around. Getting ready to go to my break. Holly Meredith.
Hi, welcome to Muscle Beach, located at 501 East Atlantic Avenue, Delray Beach. We'd like you to join us for some of the finest, hand-picked, shipped daily Prince Edward Island mussels, along with the freshest seafood Delray has to offer.
Hello, good morning. I'm Ray Flo. This is my storage, Lake Worth Storage. We've been here, I guess, about 8 years. It's been great. Love Florida. Love the storage business. I was meant for this business. Come with me. Let's go inside. And here is the fantastic staff. Mr. Josh runs it. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
And the quiet one. Look here, Marge. There you go. All right. So, well, there is a lot to run into storage. There is no silver bullet to make it successful. We've been very successful. So, you got to have a few things. You got to have, of course, the price has got to be right. You got to have a nice staff, congenial people. We have that. Place has to be clean. We have that. And we have to treat people with dignity and very nicely, and we do that. So we've got, the price, the staff. We've been here a long time. We've got a good record. Above all, though, it really should be secure. And we have very little problems with that here. We're very secure. We've got 14 cameras there and some more here. So, yeah, we're set for the public. We're set up. Excellent.
Welcome back to the Holly Meredith Show. I'm going to give you a few brief summations that are important for you to understand. Although it sounds like doom and gloom, it really isn't. The fact that your entire vote was wiped out is true. It is true. The people in power at the moment, who have been there, by the way, for 22 years, 25 years, 30 years, God help us, 40 years, are a walking case for term limits. These people need to be limited in the amount of time they are allowed to stay in our government and get their tentacles so deeply entrenched into everything that A, you can almost never get rid of them, and B, they are so corrupted by the amount of money and power that the United States wields that they are completely horrible people in every way. There's a man named John Morrissey who's a Democrat. He just got convicted of being a pedophile. He had sex with his 17-year-old staff worker, male, and he is being sent back to his office. He has been re-elected, and he only got 3 months in jail for being a pedophile and being guilty of statutory freaking rape. So now, Mr. Morrissey, in my opinion, you should have been dragged down those steps, tarred and feathered by your ugly naked ass, and thrown in the trash bin somewhere. That's what I would have done. That's what George Washington would have done. Although George Washington would never have had these things in our government, wouldn't even have considered it. It's 238 years ago. I know that's a long, long, long time when you can't even remember what happened yesterday, most of you. If you don't start paying attention, you're not going to even notice when you no longer have the country, because it's fast going that way. But going back to what I said, all of you voted. You said we don't want the way the country is going. You don't want the illegal amnesty. You don't want to be funding these wars. And by the way, we're back at war in Afghanistan, even though Fright Night, that's your president, refuses to say it. Oh, we're not. We have more people there, but no boots on the ground. No, but we have feet on the ground. It just never ends, the duplicity, the deviousness, the lying, the bullshit. It just never, ever ends. But you can end it. And I have told you before how to do it. And for the last 2 elections, God help you, you've done it. Finally, when the new Congress comes, get even more in your face. Be like me. Be like Holly Meredith. Be in their freaking faces. Make them wish they'd never been born. All in favor of abortion, make them wish they'd been one. Make their lives so miserable, so overwhelmed. Like yesterday, they all turned off their Twitter feed. Did you know that? I was one of about 90,000 people that were tweeting them all day long. I tweeted 100 different people probably 55 times. They were senators. And at the end of the day, they were so sick and tired of hearing from you, they turned it off. That's what you want to do. Call them, tweet them, show up in their office, send them balls for Boehner. Do whatever it is you have to do, but make their lives hell on earth just like they're making yours. That's my message for the new year. I hope you appreciate it and do something with it. Closing my show. See you next time.